So Stephen A. Smith has talked about Caitlin Clark on First Take. And this is what he said. I don't really think there is a real subtle jab at Sheryl Swoopes here. I don't think there's a subtle jab here at all. And I honestly don't think Stephen A. Smith is watching the games. So it is a little bit of a weird one. But to be fair, he did mention Sheryl Swoopes, and I think it's not necessarily a jab at Sheryl Swoopes. He just doubled down on his point. He's not going to apologize like an L. Duncan. But I'm going to watch this at 1.5 times speed because, well, I don't want this to take up half the video. So let's take a listen.
Time for a quick take. Caitlin Clark sank 3 3-pointers in the Fever's 84-80 win over the Connecticut Sun. That gave her 88 threes on the season, a W rookie record. Stephen A., do you think she'll end up being the best 3-point shooter the WNBA has ever seen?
She clearly has a chance.
I think best is very, very, that is subjective. Like, she's never going to shoot the highest percentage. But my funniest thing is people are like, oh, Caitlin Clark has been a disappointment. Everyone's talking about the assist because she can't shoot the three. And it's like, and she's shooting less than 1% worse than Breanna Stewart. Like, she is shooting, I'm not joking, 0.7% worse from three than Breanna Stewart. So, everyone's talking about Breanna Stewart as being the best female shooter in the world. The reality is that when you are a Steph Dolson shooting threes with 8 feet of space most of the time versus a Caitlin Clark leading the WNBA in unassisted three-pointers, it becomes different. I think she's probably going to make the most, but she's also going to take the most. So it becomes really, because that's what Steph Curry was so crazy, is that the percentage he shot as well as the difficulty and the gravity and everything. I don't think Caitlin Clark is the best wide open 3-point shooter in W. We've seen that the last few games, but I still think she's going to probably end up, when it's all said and done, making the most of anyone in history, barring injuries.
She's hit more threes, than any rookie in WNBA history. I'll remind you, Molly, that over the last 10 games or so, this girl is averaging 22.2 points, 10.3 assists, 5.9 rebounds, 1.5 steals. The Fever, who are 15 and 16 and in the 7th playoff spot right now, 4-1 since the Olympic break ended, and won 6 of their last games dating back to mid-July.
I'm just saying he's reading a sheet. He's reading a sheet. He did not know any of that off the top of his head. He did not even have I don't even think he would have a ballpark estimate off the top of his head.
She's the reason. There are other people, as the great Sheryl Swoopes articulated, that are obviously making incredible contributions and helping the Indiana Fever win. Again, it's a collective effort. It's not one individual. But the fact is that the success that they're reaping is not something they were enjoying last year. Caitlin Clark has arrived, and she's something special. Oh, by the way, Molly, keep in mind, this woman walked in this season fatigued. She had to go to the NCAA tournament, played in the national championship game, et cetera, and then just weeks later, she started her WNBA career. She hasn't even rested yet.
They did have a month rest. A month. I know they were in some sort of training camp, but I don't think it was sprinting it for a lot of that training camp. But yeah, I will say when you are what Stephen A. Smith is saying, he's right and he's kind of wrong in what he's saying. I don't think Stephen A. Smith understands why Caitlin Clark has changed everything for the Indiana Fever, and saying that it's because of Caitlin Clark. Look, recently. I think without Caitlin Clark it doesn't happen. But if you're arguing that it is solely because of her, Player of the Month's going to be won by Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey Mitchell's been unbelievable. Aaliyah Boston hasn't been great post-Olympic break. She's not been bad. And she's one of those players that can affect the game even when she's not playing her best, because she's smart and her IQ's high and she knows how to get her teammates free. But the Caitlin Clark system is what's made this team unstoppable. And he's completely on the money with that it's the most important player for this Fever team is Caitlin Clark. And you're now seeing people are like, oh, but when she's off the floor, they're okay. And I'm like, yeah, because Erica Wheeler is just running now. Erica Wheeler has stopped taking 150 dribbles every possession and is now running. Erica Wheeler's coming off screens, shooting with confidence, coming off screens, looking for quick passes. I haven't seen Erica Wheeler run in a circle with the ball once. I haven't seen her dribble the ball. There's a difference between doing Steve Nash dribbles. Steve Nash dribbles where you can run around and you're looking for passes. She does a Steve Nash dribble with her head down. We haven't seen that since the Olympic break. We've seen Erica Wheeler play the 2, play the 3, and look effective at those positions. We've seen Erica Wheeler. The first thing she does when Caitlin Clark is on the floor on the break is try to get the ball to Caitlin Clark and run. We've seen her running unbelievably fast. And that is because of Caitlin Clark. Like, it is not Caitlin Clark the player. Like, people don't understand that it's like, Caitlin Clark the player is one of the best players in the W. Caitlin Clark the system, with the right players, is unguardable even when Caitlin Clark's playing bad. If you run a non-Caitlin Clark system, you can win a game when Caitlin Clark plays well. If you run Caitlin Clark the system, Caitlin Clark doesn't even have to play well, and she's still going to give you 19, 5, and 5 in a bad game. She can have a bad game being guarded by the best perimeter defender in the W. Playing the system she wants to play, she can give you 19, 5, and 5, while also winning. Like, that is the big difference. And that is the one thing I hate the Sheryl Swoopes, like, when she refuses to acknowledge it, is that Sheryl Swoopes knows... When people say Sheryl Swoopes knows too much about the game, I actually think that there are a lot of good basketball coaches that probably don't realize that it's more so the system that Caitlin Clark can bring rather than the player of Caitlin Clark. Look, the player of Caitlin Clark is all WNBA level. But the system becomes unstoppable. Because if you can get Erica Wheeler playing fast, if you can get... And it's the reason why I really want the team to push to try bring in Julie Vanloo as a backup point guard. Because she can play at speed. She can play off the ball, on the ball. She can shoot the ball really well. She's an elite passer. She can play off the ball, on the ball. And, like, I don't think she's going to have a starting spot in the W next year. But if she wants to stay in the W, I would love to bring her to Indiana because she can just push the tempo. I think she is that perfect bench player for Kelsey Mitchell and Caitlin Clark. She can kind of back up both of them if they're both going to be playing 35 a night. So that is that's the thing when it comes to Caitlin Clark. And it's the one thing Stephen A. Smith probably isn't. Like, he's right in the fact that they're good this year, mainly because they've added Caitlin Clark to their team. But he's wrong I think he's wrong in his logic about it. But at the same time, he is dead right, saying that what Sheryl Swoopes said is wrong. And I do like the fact that, look, he's not dumb enough to go at Sheryl Swoopes again, continually. But I do like the fact that it was basically him saying, no, I'm right. I'm right and I'm not backing down. After Sheryl Swoopes effectively tried to do what she did with Elle Duncan. And Sheryl Swoopes retweeted the amount of stuff she has retweeted, calling Stephen A. Smith a racist as well. And Stephen A. Smith still taking the high road, which I've never seen Stephen A. Smith do. So I got to give some credit where credit's due there. Like, I've never seen Stephen A. Smith take the high road when someone has gone personal with him. I've seen him go personal back. I've seen him go personal worse. Like, he will out petty anyone. But he took the high road, and I think he knows that he can win taking the high road because he's probably right. So anyway, yeah, that is the video. That was Stephen A. Smith talking about Caitlin Clark on First Take. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.